Hey everyone, Smitty here. Welcome to week 2 of my Juggernaut AI slash comp prep videos. Where are we? We're at the end of week 2, 69 days out from the competition. I have finished my second week of the Juggernaut AI app, and I believe that's the end of the free trial. So I'm going to continue using the app. I'm going to start paying for it. It hasn't alerted me, like technically today started week 3, day 1, and it hasn't asked me to sign up or anything, but it's just linked to my phone, so I'm just presuming it's going to start charging me or something like that. But yeah, this is video 2, so the end of week 2, 69 days out. It feels cool to be able to say 69 days out. Don't normally do that for my strongman comps or anything like that. I just say how many weeks out I am. So 69 days out. Week 2 is done. So as far as rating the app, I think I spoke highly of it last week. And obviously, if I'm continuing with the app, it's because I like it and I think it's good. I think it would be good for beginners, people doing their first preps or just learning stuff. It'd be pretty good. I think it's better for people that understand RPE, understand reps in reserve or their body, understand the relationship between volume, intensity, and frequency. It just makes it easier when you understand those things. So when I'm doing 6 sets of 4 squats, I understand why I'm doing it. I understand why I did what I did yesterday, why it's 3 times a week, why the RPE is important, why I can bump up the RPE sometimes and drop off a set. Things like that, understanding the why behind things, I think makes the app even more powerful. And the conversations that I've been having this week when I told people about the app, I was normally pretty excited to be talking about the app and show them how cool it is, how it changes the weights as I warm up and things like that. Yeah, thoroughly enjoying it. Okay, so apart from that, now I'm going to get into the meet comp prep, 69 days out. We worked on a few different things this week. So starting here, I'll start talking about my squats. I had my comp squat, a top set of 4 this week. It wanted an RPE of 6, I believe. I did 145 kilos and I rated it at an RPE 7. Now, with my squats, I've been working on a wide stance squat for the last 3 weeks, I believe. A lot of stretching, a lot of mobility work. I just thought with my femur length, with longer legs, that the wide stance might suit me. And well, I hit that 145 and it felt okay. I think depth was okay. My adductors and groin with the wide stance are quite putrid, but it's getting better. And then I started doing my back off sets after that at 135. And then I just thought, like, when you're changing techniques, sometimes it's a backward step, 1 step back for 2 steps forward. And I just felt like after 3 weeks, I'm like, this still feels really hard. It doesn't feel better than my squat used to feel. It doesn't feel worse necessarily, but it's a lot of work. It's really kind of hurting my hips and stuff like that. And it's not really feeling better. So on one of my back off sets, I just brought my feet back in a little bit and I got a video of it. And after the first rep, I think I mutter something like, damn, that's so much better, or that was better, or that's easier, or something. So I'm thinking of bailing on the wide stance squat. What I noticed was when I bring my feet back in to just a normal width, I'd say it's just outside shoulder width. When I bring my feet back in, but still treat the squat as I was treating the wide stance, which for me is really opening the hips, really sinking back and imagining sitting back. When I do that, the squat feels a lot better. There's something that no matter where I put my feet or where I sit the bar, if I just think of down and up, breaking at the hips and knees at the same time, if I go down and up, the weight really feels really far away from my lower back and really hard. When I imagine sitting back, I feel a lot more balanced, a lot easier on my trunk and lower back. What I'm thinking is bringing the stance in, but still treating it the same as I was when I was the wider stance. There's something about imagining sitting back that helps me go straight. I've got some videos of me doing safety squat bars at the end of the video to kind of explain what I mean. So there's just a bit of an arc for you. I'm going to bring my stance back in, so I'm really looking forward to squatting this week, which will be on Wednesday, 2 days' time. Anyway, 145 for the top set of comp squats. Then I went on to cambered bar bench press. I'm also working on a few things with my bench press. What I've noticed is my bench press feels a lot better if I almost shrug and stop focusing so much on retraction and depression. A lot of my best reps are just almost using the traps a bit more. I'm still still kind of retracting my shoulders, but not focus so much on the lats and depression. Those reps end up feeling a lot better for me. I feel it in my chest. My chin's kind of tucked like this, and it just feels really strong and safe. So I thought I might just play with it this week. And so far, so good. So the way I bench, my body shape and everything, I've got a very low arch. I've got very small pecs. They're a small muscle group, but they also don't go very, very far down my chest. I've got long arms. So when I'm lowering the bar low, my pecs are off. And because there's no arch, it's not as much of like a decline type of feel as when I'm watching other people bench press. And as I'm coaching, I get to see like 50 people a week bench press twice a week. And I get to see how great it looks when they arch and they flare, they're tucking their lats in, and it looks fantastic. And I filmed some of mine, and it does not look like that. So same with all my lifts. They're all weird and I have to adjust things. But what I'm working on my bench at the moment is retracting a little bit, just a very normal amount, not worrying about depression too much. And if it feels right, a little bit of elevation even. And it ends up being a really high touch point. And so far it feels really great. So cambered bar bench up to 80 kilos for sets of 5. Then we moved on. This is all on day 1. Then I moved on to paused sumo deadlifts. What we're working on now with my sumo deadlifts, I'm working on lots at the moment. I'm working on pulling the slack out a lot better and what's called wedging myself into the barbell. So I think you can see that it's apparent on these videos. It felt really great. I've got some videos to share comparing this week's sumos to last week's sumos. In strongman with the straps and the double belt and my hunchback, I can really just rip the bar off the ground and really maintain position and lift a great weight. And when I go over to the sumo deadlift, I kind of just do the same thing. I set my body up in position and kind of just rip it off the ground. But I want to experiment a little bit more with pulling tension, pushing the bar off the floor a bit more patiently, and hopefully getting a faster lockout. So there's the pup. Day 2 is just spotto press. I do that from the regular gym, so I didn't film anything, but that went well. I built up to last week an 87.5 kilos and rated it RPE 7, and that was playing around with the shrug and everything. Didn't film that. Comp deadlift. So this was Sunday, but technically I think this is day 3 on the program. This week on the program, it didn't have me doing a top set for deadlift. It just had a 5x3 at an RPE 7. It recommended 185 kilos for me. I ended up doing 4 sets at 185 and then bumping it up to 190 on the last set just to see if I could hold the RPE. And here I've got some comparison videos that I made, very sketchy, comparing this week's reps to last week's back off sets. And I think you'll see that this week's reps were a bit faster, tighter, and just better and heavier. So these videos that I'm hopefully sharing at the moment, this week's weights are heavier, but also faster. And that's working on pulling the slack out of the bar, wedging myself in. So I'm really happy with where my sumo deadlifts are going. Moved on to safety squat bar squats, 4 sets of 5. I'll share some videos here to show how it's a pretty good bar path for me. I've always struggled with bar path on squats. And now that I've practiced the wide stance squat and really sitting back, I've brought the stance in so it feels comfy, but still imagining sitting back. And I'm noticing that my bar path is quite straight for me. So feeling good about that. Comp bench this week asked for a top set of 4 again at RPE 6. So the same as last week. It actually recommended after warm-ups to go for 100 kilos, but I just did not believe that that would be an RPE 6. So I dropped it to 97.5, which is this video here. I wrote down that it was an RPE 7.5, but I was really happy with it. That is 5 kilos heavier than last week's top set of 4, and it moved at the same pace. I think I've even got a comparison video of this week's bench compared to last week's. 5 kilos heavier at around the same RPE. That was followed by 5 sets of 4. Then I had some speed work, some comp deadlift, 150 kilos again. This week, pulling tension. I'll compare this week's 150 compared to last week's 150. This week I even did sets of 3 instead of sets of 2 because it just felt so much easier. So I was really excited about that. That's about everything I filmed and wanted to share. That's my main work for week 2. I've started week 3 today and feeling good. Weight's good, injuries are good, still training for the strongman comps as well, so there's a lot going on. But I wanted to share week 2. The app is good and I'm 69 days out. Very excited for my second ever powerlifting comp. Thanks for watching.